Hello, my name is Yusri and my matrix number is 280495, and today I'll be persuading you on the importance of financial literacy. Through all the years of Malaysia achieving its independence, our lifestyle grows more and more modern. Vehicles are no longer a rare luxury. Gadgets are getting more and more advanced, and yet it is still affordable that many of us have more than two devices for each personal use. This begs the question, is that the reason why our cost of living is getting diabolically more expensive compared to 20 years ago? Based on an article from Malaysia Kini, a poll was conducted by AMI Research that resulted in 36% of Malaysians are not satisfied with the government's action to stabilize the price of common necessities, which then begs another question. How much wealth is required for Malaysians to live in Malaysia? Being a student, I am well aware that I would be struggling financially most of the time. That is the reason that I developed a lifestyle of a minimalist. I study about financial management and practice those knowledges like compounding, insurance, stock trading, and many more. This way, it is more difficult for me to be short on money, as I would most definitely save what I make, and I'm always able to accumulate more. Imagine, the only source of income you have comes from PT-PTN loan during your studying years, having to pay for university fees, right? Rent, and common necessities with approximately 4,000 ringgit per year. Right after graduation, you have to clear off your debt with PT-PTN. This is why we should have good financial literacy, because with good financial literacy, we could live with a peace of mind, we could build up our wealth, and we could afford a good education. Which brings me to the next point. Our first point for today. We should care about financial literacy so that we could live with a peace of mind. It is usually near-term events that causes financial anxieties. Taxes, groceries, insurance fees, rent, and all the other expenses that can be quite expensive. The lower your income, the more you need to be careful and ensure that you can pay off all the commodities in order to survive, not live in luxury, just to survive. Based on an article from Investpedia.com, as the accumulated savings increase, the financial anxiety would decrease, which makes sense. And as long as we are aware of our limit financially, we will live within our means. Not everyone can accumulate a huge amount of wealth from scratch, and the build-up for the majority would take years, and maybe months if you are lucky. However, this cannot be an excuse of financial struggle. Despite having low to decent income, we can achieve financial stability, and the way to ensure financial stability is that we should list off our non-discretionary expenses, which includes groceries, insurance premium fees, utility bills, and many more. We have to gauge the cost of all that is listed and set aside a portion of our income to pay off these expenses, as it is a necessary expense to live. Again, not to live in luxury, just to live. My father always taught me to be stern with money. I have been educated to spend money on the needs and occasionally spend on the wants. Honestly, I'm very thankful that I have been brought up this way, because now I am not short of money. I haven't even graduated yet, and I have sufficient funds to keep me alive and well even when emergency hits, as long as it's not an extreme emergency that would cost up to 7 figures fee. Now, we should move on to our next point, which is we should have good financial literacy to build up our wealth. The thing is, we don't need a raise or bonus to build our wealth. Of course, getting a raise would help tremendously in building up our wealth, but needing a large income to be financially stable is somewhat a myth. As a matter of fact, there are plenty of wealth building methods that doesn't require a large stable income. Based on an article on BeTheBudget.com, if we aspire to build any form of wealth, the best way to do it is to utilize the power of compound interest. However, it takes discipline to save, or this valuable financial opportunity will not be a viable option anymore. Now, what is compound interest? Compound interest is the return that you earn on top of interest. Certain products give us an interest on the interest we earn. I know it gets confusing, but bear with me. For example, by having a savings account, a monthly compound is given, in which for every month the savings account exists, there are interests that would be added to our balance. I would recommend to start early through compound interest. The earlier you start, the bigger the return you will get in the long run. The result would not be impressive immediately. Therefore, the sooner we start practicing the habit to compound, the sooner we get to witness the outstanding result. The art of compounding that I am practicing currently is by taking a loan with a small interest, and I put the funds in accounts that provides high dividend. Let me give you a picture. I have taken a personal bank loan of 200,000 ringgit with a 3.3% interest and put all the funds in ASB, also known as Amanah Saham Bumi Putra, that provides a 5.5% dividend, which means I am making a 2.2% profit with less to no effort. On top of that, it forces me to not spend my savings and save money to pay off the debt. And at the end of the tunnel, there will be a 200,000 ringgit plus the profits waiting for me, the 2.2% profit. Right. Lastly, we should have good financial literacy so that we could afford a good education. Being a local, I feel very lucky that I was given the opportunity to enter a local university, as the fees are reduced massively. However, not everyone is lucky, because you know what is one of the most expensive necessities in Malaysia? Getting a degree. Based on an article in says.com, Malaysia is the fifth most expensive country in the world to get a degree. On average, parents in Malaysia spend 55% of their salaries and savings to pay for the tuition fees for their children. Let's say, each day of our elementary and secondary school years, all the school allowances that we have been given throughout those years, we save just 1 ringgit each day. In a month, we would have accumulated up to 20 ringgit. That equates to 220 ringgit annually without a sweat. Minimum we would accumulate in total would be 2,420 ringgit for our future education, which would be the fees that we have to pay currently. And bear in mind, all it takes to get up to that value is to be saving only 1 ringgit per day. Imagine if we save more. Imagine if we save 2 ringgit per day. We would have 4,840 ringgit. Imagine if we save 3 ringgit per day. Imagine if we have saved all the festivities allowances that we have been given. Imagine how much money that we have saved up just to pay our tuition fees. As I said before, I was brought up in a family who values money very much. Therefore, I developed a habit not to spend on unnecessary things. And every purchase I would consider more than twice before making one. Therefore, throughout my school years, I have accumulated enough savings to be able to afford paying my own tuition fees, the fees that we as students are struggling to pay, and we have to take up PTPTN loan. But because I was a minimalist, because I was taught to save up, I don't share the same sentiment. I don't face the same difficulty that you face, because I have the money I have saved up to pay for my tuition fees. The only reason that I took the PTPTN loan is to, again, compound interest, as PTPTN loan does not have an interest. In conclusion, financial struggle is a common ordeal, especially in our day and age. There's no shame in facing it. I might face it sometimes myself. We do not know when and where we might need more money. However, the end goal here is not to be massively rich. This doesn't equate to that. What this ensures is financial stability for ourselves, no matter the level of income. When most of our peers splashing their cash mindlessly, not thinking about their future and only live in the moment, we utilize the knowledge to surpass them in achieving financial success, which for most people is the most important kind of success. External problems that cause us to struggle financially, like the government concern or the lack thereof regarding the well-being of Malaysians financially, must not be an excuse for us, no matter what the barrier is. Financial literacy is always a foolproof skill to build our wealth, despite any circumstances. That is the reason why financial literacy is so important. We always have to question ourselves. Would we rather be laughing in our dorm right now? Or would we rather be laughing walking out of the bank 20 years in the future, looking at how fat our bank account is? Personally, I would always pick the latter. And I hope and pray that you share the same sentiment. That is all for me. Thank you very much. Have a good day.